Alright, so we're back, and last time we successfully raided the Archon ship and also went to the planet slash former planet where we prevented them from creating some kind of potential bomb, and then also went into what was basically the equivalent of their vault. Ran into a few issues there, though, in that we had an encounter against one of the big, what's the name of it? Something pretty like Destroyer Remnant enemies, which we fought on a few prior occasions, but this time round in particular, we had some serious trouble with it. So I think perhaps that should be our clue, our hints that we should look to make some upgrades here. I think a lot of it had to do with the squad mates that we happened to bring with us, because we had some, the squad mates that we had, let's, to be blunt, were completely useless. And that's not even anywhere near an exaggeration. They died almost instantaneously, and then we ran around trying to revive them as soon as we could, and they died immediately, once again, and that made it almost impossible. Basically was impossible to complete the encounter for that reason, because we were fighting it all by ourselves for the entire component of it. So there are some adjustments that I think we'll need to make. But as for what we have on our agenda for quests and what have you, I think first thing is going to be something we've talked a fair bit about on Eladin. Let's see. Yeah, to keep Morta from potentially building a bomb, retrieve the drive core located inside the heart of the Remnant Derelict. We need to get it before her people do. So, defuse that situation on Eladin. And there's some Remnant stuff there. Is it going to mean... I don't think this is... it's a derelict Remnant ship, yes, but I think that is a distinct thing from the actual monoliths and vaults, because we see this as a separate category here. May still run into some of those difficult enemies, though. There's certainly that possibility, so I think we basically need to prepare ourselves for that. And given how much trouble we had with it last time, I think now is the time to do the thing that we had been talking about for quite some time, but never quite got around to doing. That was doing a pretty aggressive form of crafting, particularly with armor. We've done a little bit of gun crafting, and our guns are not woefully out of date, but we are still using right now our experience-based armor. Basically, we had told ourselves many times that we were going to use this for as long as we could manage and just get the bonus experience. Maybe over time that would functionally give us, 1 or 2 or 3 quote-unquote free levels beyond what we would have otherwise gotten, incremental experience. But I think we're at a point now where we need to start being a little more pragmatic and going for things that are going to more directly improve our combat capabilities. So basically making probably a whole set of Angaran armor. Now this is level 5. It's not even as if this is the highest possible level available to us right now. I was gonna say, we could potentially just throw on whatever we had here and not have to craft it, but should be able to add some mods to things, I think, which I would assume would make it stronger than whatever we would otherwise be getting through just drops. But before we do any of that stuff, let's also just see. Okay, we still need some time on that. Actually, we do have a cryopod here, and I think there is one thing that we had said we still wanted to do, even though it seems like we've gotten the really big things. But if we go for the consumable supplies, dropping at regular intervals, the shield boosters have certainly very quickly become something that we want to use very regularly. We were spamming them like crazy in that encounter that we were talking about before. And so this will give us the drops, and then I think it unlocks this. Yeah, extra consumable slot. So right now we're using the shield boosters and I think some kind of ammo, disruptor ammo probably, which we actually haven't used once, although probably could have made a pretty strong case that would have been helpful in that encounter in question. Let's see what happens here when we take this. What kind of consumables are we talking about? Backup life support. So yeah, basically we have an offensive consumable and a defensive consumable right now. And so if we get one more extra consumable slot, we could have it be the one that gives us the life support restoration, which at least when exploring could be useful. Although done a lot of exploring so far and removed many of the most dangerous hazards, so maybe that's not all that necessary anymore, and we could go for either another defensive, I don't know how many other defensive upgrades there are, but, or we could go for, you know, a different type of ammo, like an incendiary ammo, and we could pick and choose the situations in which we want one versus the other, because disruptor ammo is effective against shields, whereas incendiary ammo is effective against armor, and so we can be a little more mindful and optimize based on who we're going up against. Okay, let's see. We have, for our strike teams, just hopefully turn this in to get a little bit more. And I did, once again, do a bunch of missions in between streams. So I think now we have on the order of 120, I think it's 122 or 124 crates here. Once again, combination of bronze, silver, and gold. Let's claim them. I was gonna say, thought I pressed the claim button. Nothing happened. That's because it's gonna take a little while for all that to process. But we are gonna get a bombardment of stuff here. And so, I mean, this may give us the type of armor that we're looking for, or at least some of the type of armor we're looking for. In general, I think it's going to be the Angaran armor, since that is the stuff that boosts our tech capabilities. And that is, generally speaking, what we're looking to do. Although we've started to spec a little bit more into biotic and some combat abilities as well. But I think, at least on the combat side, that's mostly just for passives that are generally going to be applicable no matter what we're doing. Whereas on the biotic side, we may start to get pretty close spending enough points on the biotic side that we could consider running a more biotic-centric set. And I think there is a way to set, I think they're, I don't know what they're, favorites or something like that. Basically preset combinations of the 3 skills that you can alternate between. Because right now we've just set one trio of skills and use that for the entirety of our playthrough, more or less. But if we could have more of a, this is our tech setup, this is our more biotic-centric setup, and so on and so forth. Once again, it just gives us that flexibility to use whatever is most fitting for whatever situation we find ourselves in. For example, you know, our current setup is very much relying on Flamer to give us the, here, hold on, here are all the ultra rares popping in, which I only caught out of the corner of my eye, so I was not looking at that very closely, but we'll take a look at those things in a second. But yeah, so, you know, our current setup is very reliant on Flamer to be our primary source of damage, which is really good against armor. But as we, once again, as we saw, basically worst case scenario in the semi-vault that we went into not that long ago, enemies that have a whole lot of shields and can restore those shields, I mean, shields in general will restore if you don't damage an enemy soon after damaging the shields. But it was an enemy that spawned a bunch of allies, so it was hard to focus in on the one big boss, and that meant it could restore its shields by the time we got back around to hitting it, especially if we had to run around like a madman trying to revive all of our squad mates that died constantly. So basically, we could use some other skills that can allow us to do more damage against enemies that are not very good for Flamer, like the one that we were fighting before. So shields in particular are the things that are going to stand out there. Like, yes, we have energy drain, and to a certain extent, we've been able to get by with this as a way to at least reduce or completely remove the shields of small to medium-sized enemies that have a little bit of shields, or just used as a detonator on the bigger enemies. But I think we're far enough along now in the game that the really big bosses that have significant shields, this is certainly not enough to one-shot their shields by itself, so having something that is more pure anti-shields, or, you know, something that is just very different altogether, playstyle-wise, we've started to invest in Annihilation, Charge, and Nova as well. So, you know, I think we'll start to get a little more experimental with some of those things and actually implement those types of things in the not too distant future. As I said, obviously, we've certainly spent a lot more points in tech right now than we have in either biotics or combat, so maybe still a little ways to go before we start looking to do that, but that's at least something to have in the back of our minds for sure. Let's take a closer look at the stuff. Oh, that's the wrong tab. Closer look at the stuff that we just picked up. And I think it's mostly the armor that I'm interested in here. I think once again, we're probably just going to break things down, but that's the other thing is by getting all these huge sources of gear and breaking basically all of it down. I think we're still going to break down the Valkyrie here, although I know we crafted some stuff onto this sandstorm, but it is now level 4, and level 6 is available to us at this point, which is, I mean, at least in Mass Effect 3, the difference between each level of gear was usually alternated between 2% and 3%, you know, basically 2.5% on average. So that would suggest that we should, or at this point, this is basically a 5% difference across the board, all the stats, compared to a level 6 Sandstorm. And obviously Sandstorm was, what is it? Is it rare? Is it only uncommon? I mean, it's not, definitely not an ultra rare like the Valkyrie was. So, you know, we're kind of using it because it has the mods that we put onto it, which have given it, I think, additional tech damage, which is a nice little stat stick of sorts. But perhaps it may still be worth crafting an assault rifle as well. Yeah, well, there you go. Damage definitely much higher on this one, and these numbers may be buffed by the mods we put on and the augmentations, all those things. Yeah, clip size is the same, rate of fire is the same. Ammo capacity is better. Accuracy is worse, but that's because we have a scope on this one. Weight is lighter. Weight may not be a huge factor. I mean, we're still going to break this down because I think we're not really... If we were to use the Sandstorm, we would craft one. But if we... Can we break this down? I'm trying to use that button, but it's not letting me. Or is that because it's equipped right now? Maybe that's why. So, like, if we go equip the Valkyrie real quick, does that then allow us to break down that Sandstorm? Because I believe...
That woman on the Nexus,
hold on.
She's a widow of one of my pilots.
The people you were training to explore the Scourge?
Zoe's wife was lost out there. For a fellow pilot, one does the right thing.
Like making sure her widow's got enough credits?
It's the least I can do. The most is conquering the Scourge once and for all.
Alright then. But yes, I think we learned that the modifications, or the augmentations, I believe is technically the correct term, that we used on our weapons, those, let's see. I think that may be the only one that we need to unequip here. But by breaking down weapons, we can regain the augmentations that we use, so they're not a one-time use thing. These are, I think, just ones that we got from drops. So we didn't craft them with additional augmentations. So now I'm hoping that that means we can go in the assault rifle and deconstruct you. Yes, so let's see. Yes, we get tech damage module, anti-armor module, power booster are all things that we put into this. And those, I mean, not many of them were ultra rares or anything like that. They weren't that unusual, the things that they did, but they were applicable for sure. Tech damage, damage against armor, basically things to try to make our flamer stronger. So let's break down some more things. I think we now, after doing all this stuff, breaking down our drops from all our Apex missions for a while now, we've accumulated a pretty significant amount of the various resources here. We suspected that Element Zero in particular would be one of, if not the primary bottleneck, but I think I was taking a quick glance at how much of that we have, and it's a pretty healthy amount at the moment. And I would assume that as we're getting slightly higher level gear, the Element Zero and other materials that we're getting out of these things that we're deconstructing should be slightly higher. Let's see. That's a better version of what we currently have equipped. And then the mods we technically need to sell rather than deconstruct. Okay. But let's look at armor, because as we were saying, that may be the primary thing we're looking at here. Yeah. Angaran helmet may very well be the thing that we're going to look to use. It's more so just a question of Is that going to be something that we want to craft ourselves and see if we can throw some additional stuff on it? Or will this suffice? It's basically a difference between the 10% encounter experience and 8% power damage and duration for tech abilities and 8% shields as well. Okay, so a little bit of defenses too. So better definitely offensively and defensively as well. And the duration, just think about that for cloak as well. That's a pretty big deal. 8% is not that much, but if we have, 8% from a helmet, arms, and a chestplate, then that could definitely start to add up. See, that looks... Wait, have we gotten Remnant armor before? Armor was designed from scratch by the initiative using Remnant technology. Its servos, microframe computer, and kinetic barrier generators are all dependent on Remnant science and artifacts. This resilient and regenerative hardsuit has an energy surplus. Upgrades allow for finer computer control of all internal systems. Damage resistance, health regeneration, shield regeneration. I mean, based on this, seems like it is a pure defensive armor set, whereas the Angaran one is tech-centric, Ket is combat power-centric. I think the N7 stuff is biotic-centric. And then the scavenger stuff is weapon-based, which is pretty similar to Ket, sort of. Whereas most combat skills are centered around weapons, but not a complete overlap there. Damage, duration, shields, tech construct damage. We aren't really using tech constructs, so that would be one thing that is not super relevant to us. I think, still going to keep the Explorer armor. That looks cool. I'm going to keep the Remnant armor as well, just because it seems like it's much harder to come by. Oh, we have a couple of them here. Maybe I just wasn't paying as close attention to it. Ooh, health and shield regeneration delay reduction, 30%. That is really good. Or we could technically mix and match things if we really wanted to. I mean, I'd love to throw that on instead of the tech construct damage here, then that'd be perfect. But yeah, I think we'll hold on to this in case we find ourselves in a place where we don't feel like we need the extra firepower from the offensive boosts and defensive boosts from this type of armor. Because it is, again, it does help long-term to get that experience, but perhaps we're far enough along the game that at this point that won't add up that much anymore. Okay. And then let's just eye what other consumables we'd want to get here. So yeah, we're using Disruptor and Shield Capacitors. Shield Capacitors is the big one that we are most reliant upon. And this does... That's for 3 clips of the currently equipped gun. Okay. Stun enemies deal large bonus damage to shields. So we can do extra damage to armor, which, when we're using Flamer, is not a huge concern. So I'm not that worried about that. Slow enemies deal moderate bonus damage to armor. Survive hazardous environments longer. Yeah, that's life support. Or this restores weapon ammo, right? And boosts accuracy and damage. Oh, damage reduction. Oh. So it's actually a little bit defensive as well, in a way. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, that might actually be the top choice in that case, just for the defensive reasons, as our third consumable. But it gives us some flexibility. And again, I don't think it's a huge deal. And there is, I'm pretty sure, another upgrade that unlocks a 4th consumable slot. And at that point, it's probably pretty significant diminishing returns there. Could have every single type of armor, but I think just having an anti-shields armor and anti-armor, or anti-shields ammo, anti-armor ammo is probably enough to have you covered more often than not. So I'm guessing it's going to end up being these two. I thought there might have been a missile consumable that we could use, kind of like in multiplayer, but then we were looking for one for that annoying encounter, and I don't think we could find one. So I'm not entirely sure. There's a chance we just never bought one in the past, but let's see. We could buy some Element Zero. I think there was a time when we had said, maybe it's worth picking up some of the high-level crafting materials and what have you. Definitely, I think we'll take our shield capacitors. This is basically the only thing that we've bought thus far. That and a little bit of crafting stuff, but in case those things are going to end up being the bottlenecks, then perhaps that's the most useful way for us to be spending our monies. mean, as I was starting to say, I think we have a pretty significant amount of element 0 after all, but let's see. That starts to get us up to 2,000. Oh, thought we were at exactly 60,000 credits for a second. I was like, what are the chances of that? But, and titanium's a little bit rare too. I think, oh, wait, what? Oh, because you have way more in terms of quantity of that. Yeah, no, can we undo that? Specifically that one? That did not force us to trade, did it? Okay, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we don't need that titanium, because that was just... The quantity made that a lot more expensive than I had initially realized. Let's take this. And we have not been getting... Like, this would also be, I think, exorbitantly expensive if we went all the way up to 100, but... this is something that we don't have that many of because we have not gotten the automatic drops from the cryopods for the organic materials, whereas we have for all the other stuff, but, you know, maybe we don't commit to that just yet. Because I'm not really sure if that is going to be... We're going to need that much of that stuff. We go real quick to mods. Love the damage. Penetration, reduce clip size. Clip size, clip size. Okay, well, we can almost certainly sell that. Melee damage, I think we can definitely dump that. This is... Might actually prefer that to this. I was assuming one was going to be higher level than the other, but... Apparently not. We'll leave two of them. This is the no downside penetration. I mean, right now our pistol of choice is the Hurricane, which has bad enough accuracy that it's not like we're going to be hitting the weak spot all that often. So you could actually make the case for going this route and having, what is it, the extra 8% penetration damage and 0.2 meters of yeah, sure. Sure, we'll make one exception here on this occasion. Let's dump that. I think we can do better with just the pure damage mod. And that is a low-level version of the one we were just talking about. Low-level version of one that we saw before. Same there. Okay. Sell those. At this point, this is... I mean, the number of credits we get from selling mods is not that significant. It's mostly just to clear out inventory space, to be honest. I think at some point... may be able to make a decent case that mods in general are just not even worth acquiring. Let's dump that, because we have the pure clip size there. Penetration at the cost of clip size. Penetration without the cost of clip size. For assault rifles, I feel like clip size is kind of important, so let's keep that. Keep this one, that is. Those are fine. Accuracy. Reduced rate of fire, that's also pretty important. Damage. Do we have a pure damage one up here or no? We do not. That's our highest level pure damage mod, so I guess we'll keep that. Damage, reduced accuracy. Let's dump that. Accuracy, reduced rate of fire. But do we have just a plain and simple scope? Yeah, we do. Okay. Yeah. Like, 300 credits is not really a huge difference maker. Yeah, that's just one type of weapon mod. So I guess if you sell all the weapon mods across all the weapon types, then it probably gets to about 1,000, and that starts to become pretty close to what we've seen in the past for other stuff that we sell, so I guess that's not terrible. Let's see. Spare ammo, reduced accuracy. I don't really think we want that. Penetration, that's good. Damage, we do not have pure damage. Okay, well, granted, we don't have anything for increasing ammo at the moment, so I guess we'll hold on to that just in case. That is something that we feel we need. Ammo, damage, we have better damage. Okay. Pure penetration, pure ammo. Okay, just sell that then, so we have one of each of the various types of stats we might be looking to pick up. And I thought melee... Okay, yeah. We definitely had a... Oh, no, this is a higher level version. Yeah, we have I think we have a level 5 or level 4 equipped. So just wanted to make sure we didn't sell the higher level version. Okay, so that stuff is all set with selling. But let's see what we can concoct here. What can we create that may be better? So the weapon, I think, is kind of second priority. We may want to get something to take the assault rifle spot that we had, since that was our only crafted weapon and had some interesting mods on it. But I can't remember if we started to use the Hurricane much more than the Sandstorm, to the point that the Sandstorm was basically just a complete non-factor, even if it did have some mods on it that the Hurricane did not. So, and we've fully researched that, at least. But if we look on the armor side, let's take a peek here. So, these give us the mods? The stats of the stuff? Ooh, because that's not great if it doesn't. Also, oh, yes. I still want to be here, but I think Helios is what we're looking for the armor. And we have significantly less research points for Helios. So I think we'll probably look to go weapons primarily on the Milky Way side, and that's what we've invested in mostly thus far, so that's not a bad thing. Then here is where I think we will be looking to spend for the Helios, and I think we'll probably skip Ket stuff. Although, what is this? Power damage, weapon damage, just kind of a generalist set. Probably the same idea here, yeah. Okay. Now, I think we're going to specialize in the thing that we are focusing on, which at the moment is tech. So the one hesitation that I have here is that we have started to receive some of these things from loot, of course. And we've not yet crafted anything for armor. But can we throw mods or augmentations into every single type of armor? Is it just the chest plate? Like, do we have any reason to craft a level 6 Angaran Gorilla Arms if we already have one of these? Or is it going to be functionally the same because we can't actually add any augmentations to it? I guess only one way to know for certain. How expensive is it? It's not that expensive. At least, I mean, the number does go up the higher level we get to. But if we are focusing on just Angaran stuff and just armor, I'm hoping we won't run into any issues here. Okay, that should unlock, yeah, advanced. That's going to be too high level, but we should be able to do this. Oh! Wait, oh. Okay, the requirements down there is for when we actually choose to make it, not for the researching. The researching only costs research data, right? But we have plenty of Angaran meditation crystals and plenty of shell filaments as well. So I don't think that should be an issue. But I imagine that the gauntlets are probably much cheaper than, say, this is going to be. This is probably going to be the most expensive part, the chest plate, so let's definitely make sure that we research in this. And that, yes, research cost is more expensive as well. So I think this is going to be the real test, is how much research data do we have once we've done this. I'd kind of like to at least be able to experiment a little bit with the weapons, because we have very little familiarity with that. If we do have any research data left, that'd be kind of nice to throw some points in that. Okay. Then, helmet. And so right now we can craft and use the one that goes up to level 40. But the next one isn't available until level 50, and we're currently level 42. So that feels right. You know, it's not as if we're investing in something right now that we're going to end up replacing imminently. Then legs. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be fine from a research point standpoint. Should have more than enough for now. Okay. So that's good. I think we'll hold off there. Or we'll leave it there for now. on the research side, the development side. So now if we go armor, let's prioritize this first and foremost. So we go chestplate. We can now do this. We can get up to 4 augmentations. Actually, I do want to see. We can get augmentations on other pieces beyond just the chestplate. Okay. That's pretty big. Yeah, that's definitely way better in that case than any of the stuff we'd be getting from drops, because that's a huge amount of augmentations in total. Okay, that intrigues me. That intrigues me, and I think we're going to have to think long and hard about some of these. Some of these are probably going to be obvious, the augmentations we put in. Others, because of how many options we have, probably going to start getting pretty minimal. There was also the one, or actually several super augmentations that we had. That one cryopod upgrade that we made that was supposed to reduce the downside of. Basically, there were ones that gave us humongous upside, but also somewhat significant downside as well, whereas all the other ones have pretty much purely upside, although not as significant of an upside. So we may look into that a little bit as well. But okay, Angara, Gorilla, and Helmet. Let's do this. And just want to make sure that we use the augmentations as well. Okay, yes. Didn't want to rush in without using any augmentations. Okay, so let's see. So looking at armor here is the one that's going to be relevant. Power damage bonus to armor, and certainly not bad. Biotic power damage, so bear in mind, as we were starting to say, at the moment, yes, we are pure tech. Or, yeah, basically pure tech, with some combat abilities, at least passive combat abilities, so if we have weapons damage, then obviously that's relevant as well. But we may choose to be a little bit more of a hybrid tech biotic build in the somewhat near future. So, I don't know if we're going to have separate armor sets for when we're focusing on tech versus when we're focusing on biotics, but maybe if we have enough augmentation slots here, then we can start to prioritize tech, yes, but then with our last few ones, start throwing some biotic stuff in as well. So that looks relevant. Let's just see what else. Biotics, so that's what I mean. Like, those things currently not relevant, but perhaps in the future they will be. This definitely, I don't think so. Health, I mean, it's not bad. 2% is not a huge amount, but I mean, we have 6 of these. So I guess you could throw this in just as a... If you're looking for something to fill in the last augmentation slot, you could throw this in for basically everything, and eventually it might add up to about 10%, and then it's something. 2% is kind of hard to get excited about. Power force, so that's not damage, that's knockback, basically, and stagger. Combo radiuses, that's not that bad. But again, 2%, hard to get excited about. You'd need to really stack this up to make it be noticeable. Combo damage, also good. Shield regeneration delay reduction is one of, if not the best, defensive stats. Because you have shield gate when you have shields. Which means most of the time when you have shields, you can't die in one shot. Then you can, if you get hit, you cloak, you run away, and once your cloak expires, hopefully you're in a safer spot. You have a little bit of time away from the enemy, take cover, and then you're waiting for that shield regeneration to kick in, and that's when I'm reactivating the cloak and going back in. So reducing that time it takes for you to start regenerating that shield is basically reducing the amount of time where you're in your most vulnerable state. And again, 2%, this one, that might not sound like a lot, but I think this can add up pretty quickly. There will be diminishing returns once you get to large numbers there, and I think we have gotten a little bit of shield regeneration delay reduction already, so we'd probably still like to, I would prioritize this over this. I do also really like shields, but I would prioritize this over this. And I would also prioritize shields over health, because shields, you can regenerate more easily than health. And in general, you're concerned more about your, well, if your shields are already down, then your health is, you can get one shot. So, you just want to get as many shields as possible to always, as often as possible, have shield gate up. Power damage bonus to shields. How does that compare? Wait, 2% and 5%. How does that compare to the generic? 5 and 2 for all that stuff. Is there just a generic power damage? It does not specify what type of power it is. They have it for force. Okay. And regeneration different from delay reduction. Again, in this case, significantly worse, I would argue. Power restoration and defense? Not entirely sure what that affects. Okay, definitely like that. And recharge speed as well. It's not that. It's all uncommons. Are we only allowed to use uncommon augmentations on anything? Okay, hold on. If we go chestplate, surely we can do some higher levels, some higher rarity stuff here, right? Yeah, because here we see we can do a rare. So this is the more elaborate stuff when health is 20% or lower plus 25% resistance to all damage. We could not do that in the other spot. Ultra rare. Weapon now fires electrical projectiles. Well, that's interesting. I did not... I knew these ultra rare ones were different. Or more elaborate, yes. And I remember the ones that altered the style of projectile, but I didn't remember that they still did that even when you put it in armor. And what else is here that we did not see before? When health is 30% or less, plus 25% power status effect duration. So that would affect things like cloak and flamer. Although in general, when we're at 30% health or less, we're probably trying to run away from enemies, so cloak is probably more relevant than flamer is in that case. Last 20% of clips ammo, gain 10% extra damage. I don't think we're going to prioritize the pretty much purely weapon-based stuff like that. Except for stuff that alternates the type of projectile. That I am curious about. On enemy killed, restore 25... What? What? Are you kidding me? That's absolutely busted. That's insane. Are you serious? That's ridiculous. Restore 25% shields. That's insane. We're almost certainly taking that. 25% chance to recover 10% of health when shields are broken? Nah. Think we have found. We have found what's going on the chestplate. Okay. So, I guess chestplate, you want to load up on as many of the ultra rare and rare augmentations as you can get, because you can't get those on the other stuff. So let's... Maybe we do start with that then. Maybe we do start with this. So let's nab... wherever it was. Restore 25% shields when you kill an enemy. That's... I can't believe that's something that you can do. That's insane. Okay, we have lots of augmentation slots as well. Are we only allowed to take one? We're only allowed to take one thing that's better than uncommon for the chestplate. Okay. I think, given we just looked at everything, I think that the one that we just selected did very much rise to the top of my list. Does mean that if we're trying to alternate or alter the type of projectile that we have, then we are going to need to put that on the weapon. But I think that's generally going to be a weapon-specific thing that we're trying to do anyway, so maybe that makes sense nonetheless. Okay, so... Power restoration, defense. I think I want to get the shield, recharge, delay, reduction. It's another thing that I want, and then maybe we start going more offensive. This. Just 2%. Not a big number, but you throw that on every piece of gear, and then it's going to be, again, I think about 10% or maybe 8%. That's what we have. Gauntlets, chestplate, helmet, greaves. I think those are the 4 slots, and I don't know if you can still get that stat on weapons as well, but at that point, you're probably looking to go more offensive on your weapons anyway. So yeah, 8 to 10%. At which point, you can maybe start to see more of a difference there. Combo damage, we are certainly trying to do a lot of combo damage. I think, given how this is an armor set that gives us tech damage, we should optimize around tech damage if we're doing things that are offensively oriented. And then, if we still have slots even beyond that. Bonus to one or more stats when used. I'm just still not sure what power, restoration, and defense is. Is that like energy drain, giving us shields back? Gives us more shields back in that case? Like tech power damage, yes. Can we do multiple of those? Do you let us? Those look really similar. Tech power damage, is that because they're the same? Or they just have very similar icons? I think those are... It is allowing us to double and triple down. Ooh. In which case, we could double or triple down on that delay reduction. We only have one more of these. Ooh, okay. Maybe not then, or at least not much. Oh yeah, that means we can only put one more on our other gear anyway. Okay. So maybe we go for something a little more offensive here. Power damage to shields is sort of our weakness of our current setup in many ways. Energy drain, yes, can do that. But energy drain is not really a high damage skill. Yeah, tech power damage we should do instead then. I guess we should just do tech power damage across the board. So that should mean, what, these are 2% tech power damage each, so 6 tech power damage, 6%, in addition to what we already have here, which I don't think it's adding the numbers from the augmentation, so this would be 15% tech power damage. This is giving us the shield, 2% shield recharge delay reduction, and then 25% shields restored when we kill an enemy, which I still think is absurd. So I think we craft this. Sure, we want to develop it. Be added to our inventory, available to equip via loadout terminals. Yes. Let's do it. Oh, we can... Oh, interesting. Interesting. Shield. Regen on kill. So that is the primary thing that does, so I guess we can name it accordingly, make it a little easier to organize that stuff. Okay, so chestplate is all set. Now let's go for you. So, I mean, again, we could just load up on tech damage, and get an absurd amount. So I guess there is still a reason to stack a bunch of these, get a whole bunch of these. Also should help us reduce some of our item space, because I think it's mostly augmentations that are, augmentations and mods that are filling everything up. So yeah, I like the combo-based stuff, yes. Ooh, actually, that's an interesting point. At least in Mass Effect 3, damage for tech, biotics, combat, power damage more generally, does not apply to combos specifically. It only applies to combos if it says combo. So like this, where that's radius, this is damage. I'll be honest, I've been pretty underwhelmed with combo damage in general in Andromeda thus far. To me, it feels like the numbers are way different. It feels like the percent, at least in Mass Effect 3, the combo damage scales based on the difficulty that you're in, so higher difficulties, the enemies have more health and armor and shields and what have you, but the amounts of damage that you get from combos is actually scaled up to go along with that. So that makes combos one of the most efficient ways to damage enemies on higher difficulties in particular. That, I don't know if that may just not be the case anymore in Andromeda, because it feels like we do fire explosions, and sure, it makes a big boom, and it gives us the fire explosion, but their health bars barely move when it happens, and perhaps even less so than, you know, just a straight pure flamer does. So, I'm kind of a skeptic when it comes to the combos right now. Or does that mean maybe we try to scale into it more? How many of these do we have? We have 4? I mean, we could load up on one of our other pieces. We are going to run out of tech damage eventually. Recharge speed is also not bad, though. It does have diminishing returns at some point, yes, but, you know, having a tactical cloak coming off cooldown quickly is certainly, and all of our stuff, certainly nice. So we'll throw that in. Yeah, so we have 3 of those left. Let's just see where this leaves us. If we just go crazy with the recharge here, that'd be 6% recharge in addition to... Yeah, because this doesn't even have recharge built in. I mean, it alternates. Some stuff has the damage, some stuff has duration, some has recharge, and what have you. But let's do this. Don't think we need to rename that one because it's pretty generic. Done the chest plate. Go with the legs now. And Garin armor, yes. That's what we want. So then, yeah. Damage, duration, again, no recharge here. But we should be able to... Ooh, you can do rares as well? Ah, there's some stuff that is specific to the different categories. Those things were chest specific that we were looking at previously. There's nothing that's helmet specific, apparently. But there are some leg specific things. On jump melee, shock blast, extra 50% electrical damage. We are not really making a point of prioritizing melee, so I don't think that's a difference maker here. Cryoblast on... Are these all melee? The only thing that changes? Anything else? Does any of the uncommons have leg-specific stuff? Yeah, it looks like that's the only thing we get out of the legs. So yeah, I mean, it could be really interesting if you are running a dedicated melee build, and there are definitely a lot of things that you can do for melee in Andromeda that does intrigue me, but we just haven't been building for that at this point. I think it's too late for us to focus on that. So, multiplayer. One of these days, we'll start it up, and I'm curious to see what we can do there for melee stuff, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. But let's see. So now, if we throw in more recharge, so we're going to get... What, we've done helmet, we've done chestplate, we're doing... We done gloves, greaves? These are greaves. Have we done arms yet? No, we haven't. Okay. So this is not yet the last slot, but it is the second to last slot. So just trying to get a sense as to what we do and do not have. What we may not have access to later on. What we may not be able to squeeze in. Shield regeneration? No. Yeah, these are the ones we don't want. Might go just pure shields, but do we have any tech damage? Just generic tech damage? No. So we can go power damage to armor, power damage to shields. Are the most pure damage-centric stuffs that we have. Which, as we were saying, the shields is kind of our weakness, kind of, sort of. Armor a little less so, just because Flamer, in general, deals a lot more damage than Energy Drain does. Is there anything else defensive? 2% health, 2% shields we saw. Combo-centric stuff, we could start to throw a little bit into that. Just gonna be 2% though, that's hard to get excited about. Maybe we just go shields there. Oh, and that's only the second one. Okay. Sure, we'll get a little more shields then. Okay. Now we go arms, and I'm curious to see if there's anything specific to the arm slot. Yes, I think there is. Oh, wait. Oh, no. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong page. Oh, but there is. Hold on. While hovering, ooh, plus 35% tech damage. That is a ton. Wow, we have 17 of these? What the heck? Are we allowed to put multiple of these on? Because if so, then that's going to end up being over 100% damage while hovering. Which, you know, at that point, we could start to make more of a point of using tech skills when we are hovering. Like Flamer while hovering, it's not out of the question. Other rares. Or is that it? Or in general, things that are unique arm-based abilities. No, it's just that, but it is extremely relevant. Can we load up on multiple of them? No. Okay, fair enough. That would have been pretty busted if we could. That would have been pretty insane if that were the case. So, in which case... do we have more of the just generic shields? Ooh, delay reduction. We still forgot to get the last one of those in. Okay, we'll take that. Again, we don't have quite as many of those as I would like, so it may not be that noticeable, but so be it. It's the kind of thing where you don't ever know definitively if it saved your life, but it definitely is going to save your life more often than you realize. Yeah, because you're not going to because you're not going to realize it. Yeah. It's very unheralded in that way. Very underrated, I guess is what I'm saying. Did I see anything that's just pure shields? Did we use all that? We have health, but as I said, I'm not as excited about health because in general, we want to have shields at all points in time. And if we have shields at all points in time, then our health doesn't really matter because we have health gate, or rather we have shield gate. So it's gonna have to be something offensive. Or it's the power restoration and defenses, which, I mean, 2% is basically nothing. Could do combo damage. Tell you what, we'll go for the... no. Probably go power damage. Yeah, otherwise we do something biotic, even though this is not a biotic armor set, just because we might not bother to switch around. I'm kind of tempted to do the damage to shields or damage to armor, but... yeah, let's do this. As we said, it's a bit of a weakness of ours. So we'll make up for it a little bit. Okay, so our gear, our armor specifically, should be much better than it was before. Once we, in fact, let's throw that stuff on before we forget. Because there have certainly been times where, not so much I've forgotten, as much as it's just, I've accidentally pressed the back button, which immediately loads you into the next area. Okay, so we swap this stuff around. We go with this. Did we only... oh no, okay, those are separate instances of the tech recharge speed 2%. Okay, I was gonna say, for a second I thought it was only gonna give us the boost from one of them, but no, we definitely have the boost from all of them. Okay, gotcha. That looks very silly with just that helmet on and nothing else. Now we do this. Okay, can we get a summary that adds up everything from all of our gear? Just given how we have all those mods, it gets a little bit messy. Okay, this is where we can throw this stuff on. So it's not an augmentation, it is a mod. All power recharge speeds 50%, which is humongous. However, minus 15% damage is also pretty huge. So we had an upgrade from the cryopods that cut the cost of these things in half. So does that mean that we're already seeing that here? Like this would usually be minus 30% weapon damage, and so it's been reduced down to 15? Or does that mean that it's not actually showing up here, but in actuality, this is only doing minus 7.5% weapon damage, or rounding up or rounding down from there? damage resistance, but reduced damage of every variety. Tech construct stuff, but reduced shields. Yeah, no thank you. Tons of shields, reduced health. Honestly, I would do this. Given what I was just saying before. Actually, what is our... We can see on this screen what our health and... Technically speaking, we do have a lot more health than we do shields. I'm a little bit surprised about that. Which means that, you know, for reducing 20% health to gain 20% shields, our total effective life pool is still lower than it would otherwise be. Hold on, what were the numbers there, though? It wasn't the same amount for each of them. It was gain 50 to lose, or lose 25 to lose 50. It's probably pretty close, given how that reduced by 25 is still a larger number, and that gain by 50 is to a higher number. But as I said, in general, I think shields are more valuable than health is. So that's a kind of... I mean, if not for that difference that we have to health and shields, I would say that that's a low-risk option. I think that's still certainly not bad. Although I am very intrigued by the recharge reduction one as well. Although we just got a bunch of tech recharge speed anyway, so that might be at the point now where we have pretty significant diminishing returns. Okay, so there's that. We could potentially craft a new weapon as well. As we were saying, we disassembled the sandstorm that we were using because that was a pretty low level and not a very powerful weapon to begin with. We just did it for a quest mostly. But we have been using a hurricane as pretty much our go-to weapon. And in terms of crafting materials here, we're doing pretty okay. So, I mean, if this is going to be our primary weapon, which I think it has, by and large, become that, then I think it does make sense for us to invest in it here. And we can, if we disassemble this, still get back these upgrades later. Well, hovering plus 35% rate of fire on a hurricane, that is absurd. That rate of fire is going to be ridiculous. I'm intrigued. I'm not really sure how much this is going to help, because the hurricane is kind of hard to control anyway. But in theory, that is very intriguing. The rate of fire, that might be the highest possible rate of fire in the game. Hurricane may be the highest base rate of fire. Let's see, power damage to armor. Health and shields are full, plus 20% damage to health. Oh. Did we see this when we were looking at the chest? I mean, this is not bad by any... Well, then again, when health is 20% or lower, you're in pretty rough shape. You're probably running. So, health and shields are full, however, plus 20% damage. That doesn't say weapon damage, but it is an augmentation on the weapon. I mean, that'd be great on a sniper rifle when you have cloak, and you're, well, in general, just when you're far away from the enemies, they're not really hitting you back. So you just have basically an easy 20% damage, whereas for us, I mean, yeah, at the beginning of the encounter, obviously, we should have maximum health and shields, but then we're probably going to be up pretty close to people. We're going to get hit, even if we cloak and start running away. Might not be at full shields anymore. Weapons now fire sustained energy beam that accurately deals rapid damage to the target. Damage over time is the same as base weapon. Stability plus 200%. So this intrigues me for the Hurricane specifically, because one of the Hurricane's main issues is its complete lack of stability. So giving it plus 200%, I would think would make it absurd. Definitely don't want that. Don't know what a burst really means. Does that mean it turns into a shotgun? Don't really think we want that. Weapon now fires a beam of electricity. I swear, we did not see all these when we were looking at the chest plate. Each projectile fired is now a grenade. Minus 10 weapon recharge rate. The Hurricane fires 2 shots per... Yeah, wait, what? Yeah, basically the Hurricane has the highest rate of fire in the game, at least in Mass Effect 3. So... the prospect of turning all of those into grenades is hilarious. I'm curious, but it also seems like it could be completely impractical. Additional incendiary ammo damage, weapon damage. I mean, that's certainly not bad. +1 mod slot is actually pretty intriguing. That may be more, probably is more significant than an augmentation. In most cases, I guess that's why this exists, but... Power force... Non-shotgun damage... Non-shotgun weapons increase damage. Just combine all those things together while we're at it, why don't we? Reduce rate of fire, though. We do like rate of fire on this weapon. When current clip is full, plus 20% power damage. I mean, that is really good for when we are just not firing our weapon. So I do kind of like that. And now, are we going to find ourselves only being able to use one ultra-rare or rare mod per thing that we're crafting like we saw in the past? Because if so, then we're going to have to be a little bit pickier. Combo stuff. Eh. No, thank you. Not on the Hurricane. That is also intriguing. Because that, I would think, would be another way to counteract the whole lack of stability thing. Disruptor ammo. Clip empties, restore 25% shields. I mean, we blow through shields quickly enough with this thing, or blow through clips quickly enough with this thing that that's not a terrible thing. That could happen pretty quickly and efficiently. And no thank you. Also ridiculous, but intriguing on this weapon in particular. So if we could combine this with the thing that gives us the extra power damage when ammo is full, that seems like that would be really awesome. I don't necessarily think that's the thing to do on the Hurricane specifically, because the Hurricane really needs big clip size because it blows through its clips very quickly. Okay, so let's go for one of the ones that gives us the accuracy that we're looking for. So it was either going to be, let's see, this for the stability. Will override any fire type augment. So it's either that, or, I mean, there's also a ton of these things, so it's going to be hard to find the one that was near the bottom. Beam of electricity, was it this? This does not give us stability, whereas the other one does, and I think we want the stability. Go to the grenade. No. This is the other one that I'm tempted by. So this does not say... doesn't say anything about preventing other types of projectile altering mods. Although, is the icon supposed to... No, the icons are unique to everything. It's not as if like, ones that have a certain icon are, lock you out from other ones that have the same icon. It may be the rarity, though, does that. Okay, so yeah, I'm going for the one that is, what, the electricity beam plus stability, mostly because of the stability. Yeah, there's the one that does heat seeking, which may not have stability, but may mean that you don't really need it at that point. This? It's this. Okay, moment of truth. Can we still get... we can... yes, we can. Oh, that's huge. We can still get high rarity stuff. Okay, so can we combine the electric beam thing with other things? Did it say that that prevents... ugh, now we have to find it again. Is this one of the ones that said that it cannot combine with other projectile-based things? And I am intrigued by that as well, and we can apparently combine those. If this didn't have that clip size penalty, I'd be all for it. Although, combine it with this, and you don't care as much about running out of that. Running out of your clips. Okay, are we now limit? No. Huh. Does seem like there are definitely less rares and ultra rares now. We can do this one. Interferes with the functionality of seeking plasma and sticky grenade. Huh. Why did that one lock us out of a bunch of other things? I don't know. This is what I mean. Like, some things are preventing us from taking other things. Sometimes it tells us, sometimes it doesn't tell us. So I don't really get it. Okay. I don't think we want this, and I assume it may conflict with the other stuff. Weapon damage is certainly not bad. Oh, the mod slot. Let's take one of those. Now, at a certain point, getting multiple additional mod slots may start to get diminishing returns, because there's only so many types of mods that you would really like to have. Although on the Hurricane, I think there are several things that are useful. Things that increase stability, things that give you damage, of course, things that give you penetration, clip size, you know, any and all of those things. We did buff our stability from one of the other mods, so maybe that's not as much of a need, but I'm sure we can find good things to throw on here for mods. So then we might be starting to look at power damage and what have. There's one more for weapon damage, though, right? Weapon damage here. 3%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I think that does. I mean, it's basically one level. One level upgrade on the weapon. And I think you may want to go that route with the weapons, is take things that are specific to the weapons. Then you swap out your armor for when you're going biotic versus tech and what have you. But you can keep your weapons regardless. So 6% weapon damage. Extra mod. Restore shields when we blow through a clip. And it's a laser beam that has more stability. I think that's pretty reasonable. I think that could be very interesting. Let's call this Laser Hurricane. Again, just using it, the biggest thing that we've changed about it to let us know what to expect. So we now have really should be, I hope, a really powerful Hurricane, which is, with that electrical upgrade, I don't know, the Hurricane previously was a close-range weapon because of that muzzle climb, lack of stability, but maybe that now makes it more of a mid-range weapon than it was before. We'll see. In theory, we got 200% stability on it, so maybe it's much better. Then we still have a Black Widow equipped, but we got rid of our Sandstorm, so we don't have an assault rifle right now. We could make a shotgun. We had... I mean, then again, the Hurricane is kind of a close-range weapon, as we were just saying, so having a shotgun is perhaps not great for a combination with that. Also, we may not have the highest level of unlocked for the shotguns that we would want. Otherwise, assault rifle, I don't know which one we'd go for. Falcon is kind of close range. Matic we tried. I was not a huge fan of Adventure, obviously not having high expectations for that. Then there's Sandstorm. Let's try going a shotgun route, and maybe we can once again try something a little bit creative to turn what would otherwise be a pretty close range weapon into something that can do a little bit more in the mid to long range. And honestly, even Talon, which is a pistol technically, but functions like a shotgun does, that is a little bit tempting as well. But I remember some people were saying Piranha with the right mods can be insane, because this is another weapon that had tons of damage, but its biggest weakness was its terrible accuracy. So if you can use one of those projectile modifying upgrades to improve its accuracy, then perhaps you can... we should have the highest one available to us. I don't know why we didn't see it popping up before, but... we should theoretically be able to turn it into, yeah, more of a well-rounded weapon. So let's see. Let's get a little creative here. And yeah, we have plenty of crafting materials, as you can see, so don't need to be that worried about running out of this stuff. And as long as we disassemble rather than sell these weapons when we're done with them, then we should still be able to get the augmentations back. So somewhat similar, what we're looking for here is a way to increase the accuracy. We don't care as much about the stability in this case, just pure accuracy. So I think we are looking for something that changes the way in which the weapon fires. So this would be one of them. For non-automatic, this is it technically semi-automatic, or is it, no, it should be automatic. It's an automatic shotgun. It's basically a hybrid shotgun assault rifle, and it deals a lot of damage per shot. It just has big bullet spread, so that's why if you can improve the accuracy, it should get much better. So what does that mean if you turn into electricity or the heat-seeking? Seems like that could be really helpful here as well. If we could get heat-seeking grenade launcher, that would be absurd, but I'm not sure we can put all those things on. Let's see. Mod slot, again, may be useful, but... plasma bolts, the traveling ballistic arc, exploding impact, creating an additional explosion nearby. So like the venom, but I don't think that's the best way to improve accuracy on this guy. And I kind of wanted to see if we could get one of the weapons to have this, and just basically have it be a weapon that we put on us when we're not necessarily trying to do weapon damage, but just for a passive 20% flamer and energy drain damage, which is pretty huge. That might be a Black Widow kind of thing for when we're opening up encounters, and then we switch to a weapon for close range when we are switching into close range. Don't want it to bounce off surfaces, I don't think. Heat-seeking plasma bolts. I think that's the most efficient way, I would assume, to increase this accuracy. As you can see, the accuracy number there is pretty bad. Okay, what else can we do here? So again, we do still have some access to some of this rarer stuff. Health and shields are full, extra damage. Mostly looking at the high rarity stuff. Cryo freeze, incendiary damage. Interferes with seeking plasma. I think we already have that, so this doesn't work. This one would be the ballistic arc explosion one. Yeah, okay. Might throw this on, as that is perhaps, besides the... we could do shield oscillator here. It's not a terrible idea in this case. Otherwise, I was going to say you do one of the weapon ammo type damages, and I'm not super thrilled about those. Or that. I do think that this plus the extra power damage when your clip is full is a pretty natural combo. And we do have multiple of those. So maybe we do try to reserve that for something else. But if so, what else are we trying to do here? I guess this. Yeah. Then we'll make a higher level Black Widow, and we'll make that the one that has the power damage and restoring, maybe naturally restoring ammo, although you might just not need it in the Black Widow because it doesn't have that many shots. Both a good thing and a bad thing, because that's one of the advantages of it relative to other sniper rifles. So reducing the clip size by 60% is somewhat significant, Okay, so now... should already have burst fire. Although that is kind of tempting. If we can... This is a gun, fire type augmentation. You may apply only one such augment to a gun during the development process. But you're... I mean, I would think that that would conflict with this then. But you seem to be letting me do this, which I'm surprised about. I'm not sure if that means that I should know better and deliberately not take it, but I am intrigued. I mean, that is similar to what this weapon already does, but if you can have heat-seeking with also additional burst fire stuff, then that seems like that could be even better. We'll go mod slot again, I do think is good. And then maybe to just get one of them. And then, wait, what was weapon damage? Yeah. Okay, so this is... let's see. Heat seeking piranha. Okay, then sure, we'll make a Black Widow, and we'll make that, or probably make a Black Widow and make that the one that gives us the power damage as well. Basically, it's something that we just put on for passive damage, and we're gonna swap to something else when we actually need to be actively fighting people with weapons. It's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'm not necessarily sure it's the perfect weapon to do this on. If we had one more augmentation slot on other weapons, then I would throw on the damage when on full ammo on basically all of them, but alas, it wouldn't let us do it. So this is what I'm talking about. I assume we can't do two of those. Also, ridiculous if Black Widow is shooting sticky grenades. I don't think you want the heat-seeking on a sniper rifle, because I imagine that could mess with trying to get headshots and what have you. I don't think you're trying to bounce off surfaces either. Combo damage. Weapon damage, reduced rate of fire. Reduced rate of... technically, rate of fire is kind of a thing for the Black Widow still, because you do usually have multiple bullets per clip. Probably still benefit from the extra mod. Weapon damage. Should have room for one more nifty thing here. Could do the electricity, but I have no idea how this would work on a sniper rifle. Huge base damage, but yeah, it's non-automatic. Now fires electrical projectiles. It's not a beam. Okay. Looking for an ultra rare. Hold on. Sustained energy beam. Damage over time, same as the base weapon. Weapon stability. I mean, again, I have no idea what this would do on a high base damage sniper rifle. Where is the one that we were talking about that would synergize? Can we not get the one that... What did we put here? This was the power damage. That was the mod slot. That was the weapon damage. I'm looking for the one that naturally brings back ammo, but reduces clip size. I'm not sure. Wait, what is the clip size? It's 3. So if we reduce the clip size by, I think it was 60%, then that means we have 1 in the clip, which, you know, is, as I said, it kind of takes away the whole point of the Black Widow, which is that it has a really powerful shot that you can fire multiple times before you need to reload. But maybe the game just doesn't let you do that on a sniper rifle for that reason. So that would be pretty wonky. Accurately deals rapid damage over time to target. Damage over time, same as base weapon, weapon stability. I don't know, we might do this. Of all the things that alter the type of projectile, this seems like it might be the most reasonable. The one other thing, though, is that, at least in Mass Effect 3, weapons that fire projectiles rather than usual weapons cannot pierce through armor or cover. So all the penetration mods, and the Black Widow actually has built-in penetration to it automatically, those don't work in most cases. So, not sure if we're taken away from something that would otherwise be one of the other little more subtle strengths of the Black Widow. But we'll try it. We'll try it. Again, I don't know how much we're really going to be using the Black Widow, but I'm intrigued at the very least. Then... do we take Seeking Plasma? Was that the name of it? This might still work. Fire charge weapon to fire more projectiles? That's absurd. For it is basically a venom. But just the prospect of using that on a Black Widow is ridiculous to me. But okay. It's gonna have to be something offensive and more power-based, it seems. Either that or some other projectile-altering things that at this point seem like they may be anti-synergistic. Let's do that, I guess. Damage to armor. Okay, this is gonna be a weird Black Widow. Like a very, very weird Black Widow. So much so that I might just call it Weird Black Widow, but also, wait, what did we... It's technically a beam Black Widow, right? Isn't that what we made for the most significant mod on it? Augmentation on it? Okay, so we have messed around significantly with that stuff. So that was overdue. I know we spent a lot of time on that, but I think that was very overdue. So we had not really experimented with that much at all. Let's throw on these newly improved weapons now. Oh, let's also swap to the higher level version. How much damage is it? That's actually almost a 10% damage upgrade there. That's pretty significant. Then for you, yeah, laser hurricane. Slightly less, the damage reduction is probably just because we don't have the mod. Clip size, I think, may legitimately be from one of the augmentations that we put on there. We might have put a mod for the one that we currently have in use that's buffing that. Ammo is better, accuracy better, weight is better. I think those are all just because it's a higher level. Now let's... And we did get the extra mod slot, so let's see. Definitely take the damage. Probably just take the... At least start by taking the mods that we had before. No, try to do this. Yeah, we did have clip size, but it added weight. Sure. Then... Can we cannot double up on that. Okay. Penetration or more clip size. I guess we're gonna go penetration and reduced headshot weak point damage. I think that's fine on the Hurricane. Assuming that we can do any penetration at all on this thing, which again, given how we've been altering the types of projectiles these weapons have had, I don't know. I don't know if that still works. But we're experimenting now. We are experimenting now. Okay, so I kind of want to just start with this and then now do this to compare. Damage is lower. That might again just be because of a mod. Accuracy and weight better, probably just because higher level. Now we do this stuff, and yeah, the damage was coming from the mod there. Then we had penetration. Then can add one more thing. Ammo, more penetration, ammo. Guess we're going ammo, which, given how we turned it into a beam, may actually be pretty significant. Wait, it's spare ammo or it's clip size? It's spare ammo, isn't it? I don't think that's going to help for the duration which you can hold a single beam. In fact, I think that's actually counterproductive for, I'm thinking of the whole having the full ammo thing, but we did not give this the augmentation that has it automatically restore its ammo when it's not in use, because we couldn't do that. Guess we just stick with that. And for you, we're going to throw in our new shotgun. I guess we'll... Oh, we had Crusader. Something else we could have considered using. This is sort of the shotgun sniper hybrid. Honestly, this might have been better than the Black Widow to be the third option. The third option for us. So it might have still been able to do some of the things that we were trying to do, namely have it naturally restore its ammo when we weren't actively using it. I'm kind of tempted to see if we can do that now. Let's, once again, just do this for comparison purposes. Did we not get this the extra mod slot? Thought we did. Oh, no, that's the non-crafted one. That's why. So yeah, extra damage. We did put some damage augmentations into it. Ammo, weight, that's probably mostly just from being higher level. Then the melee damage, don't really care about that. The ammo and reduced accuracy, I mean, this is heat-seeking. So I don't, there's a chance that that means accuracy just doesn't matter practically at all. Ooh, we don't have a good shotgun barrel upgrade, unfortunately. At least it's some damage, and again, don't actually know if we can still get penetration, but we're gonna see. And then sure, we go ammo at the expensive accuracy because we think that perhaps we can, we don't need to worry too much about the reduced accuracy. Okay. I kind of want to craft the Crusader before we forget that, we forget what it is that we wanted to do differently. And again, we have the limiting factor, I think, at this point is going to be the mods that we want, or the augmentations that we want, because we've thrown a lot of the good ones into our other stuff, like things that we put into the Black Widow we might really want to put into a Crusader instead, is basically what I'm getting at, but it's at least one key missing piece. Wait, where is... Disciple, Katana, Piranha... Did we not get the Crusader level 6? Did we forget that? We did forget that. And there's still even more shotguns that are powerful and intriguing to test these things out with. And again, this is something that I just did not have any plans for going into Andromeda, because I did not know that the augmentations were this significant. I don't think rate of fire is going to... So again, this is sort of the hybrid shotgun sniper rifle, and so for that reason, I think it could replace the Black Widow. What I'm looking for here is, can we get the thing that restores ammo automatically when not in use, and also the thing that gives us the power damage when ammo is full? So that combination would be really nice. We can do this. Now can we get the automatic ammo restoration? That's what I'm looking for. And this is basically perfect accuracy. This weapon, which is why it's basically a hybrid between shotguns and sniper rifles. So really don't need anything that increases accuracy, I wouldn't think. Although changing the type of projectile is, of course, generally still interesting. Huh. Not seeing it. If we unequip that, are we allowed to do it suddenly? Or is it just not available on this type of weapon for some reason? That's the component that we had before. It's one of the two things we're looking for. This is the other thing that I want. Are we not allowed to combine those things? It's a rare, not an ultra rare. Yeah, no rares are available. So I don't get what the logic is behind what does and does not lock out other mods. Sometimes it tells us, other times it doesn't. That was, I thought, an ultra rare, and yet we can get another ultra rare, but we can't get a rare. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, okay. I mean, in that case, I think we just abandoned this crafting project here. At some point in time, we may choose to, when we look to craft once again and maybe replace the Black Widow, perhaps we do replace it with a Crusader. But it's not as if it can do the thing that I'm trying to be able to do. And maybe it's just that shotguns can't do it and sniper rifles can't do it, but pistols and assault rifles can. So if we want to make something like that happen, we'd have to choose a different type of weapon. Maybe that's the answer, but as of right now, I think we need to settle for this. And I don't remember if we've checked email and spoken to squad mates and what have you since the last time we got onto our ship. I assume we did. We probably at least checked with one or two of them. Let's see.
Havar,
Generic?
the oldest new world. I like it.
That was a very long time ago that we were last on Havarl.
We'll talk later.
So I don't know what to make of that.
I know it.
You two? You were mad at us.
Look, you already apologized for what you did. That's more than most Krogan get. I updated Kesh, let the clan know what happened. And I'd rather be talking about something else right now, so...
Okay.
We can talk more later.
Interesting.
Sure.
Perhaps he has started to forgive us. Hey, wait your turn, Vetra. You're next, don't worry.
Ryder,
Okay, and nothing from you?
You probably have work to do. We can chat later.
Okay.
you know where to find me.
So let's leave it at that then. And let's head over to Eldon. So I'm definitely excited to try out those new weapons. I think the thing that's going to be most noticeable is, of course, the different types of projectiles and firing patterns that we have altered them with. And in theory, there are definitely some positives to all that. Ooh, that's new. And perhaps worth poking our heads in. Yeah, a few new places. Okay. Maybe, I mean, I was planning to go to Eldon. That is still, I think, a time-sensitive thing, so perhaps we do that now nonetheless, but I'm intrigued. And I think I'll try to keep the exclamation points above the ones that we haven't been to yet, so that it's obvious that there are still things for us to head over to once we're done with this. But this is top priority. But yeah, there are some very clear and obvious upsides to the weapon modification, the projectile alterations that we've made. But the bigger question perhaps is, what are the downsides? Because there may be some that are not immediately apparent. Like do we remove the penetration capabilities of weapons? So we might have, in some, possibly all cases. Okay. So, let's head over.
We're on course.
Top priority is diffusing the whole potential bomb situation. But as you can see, there's no shortage of other things that we could do here as well. So, It's also only at 36% viability, which is the lowest of all the other planets. So we may just choose to stick around, pump up the viability, and maybe see if we can get an actual outpost set up there. We haven't really dedicated ourselves to that much yet, although I imagine we'd probably get a pretty sizable amount of viability from completing this quest here. And that's the thing, we haven't done that many quests on Eladin thus far. Just the ones we have done have been usually about 5% rather than the usual 2%. So they have added up comparatively quickly. So these have all changed. We are now much more aggressively setting ourselves up for combat stuff. And I think perhaps we are reaching the point where we've given some of our squad mates enough time to show us what they offer and make assessments as to who is and is not a good fit for our team. And generally speaking, the answer to that is we need people who are capable of taking hits and not getting themselves into too much trouble, because since we're cloaking so regularly, enemies are not really going to be coming after us, they're going to be coming after our squad mates. And if they are not very survivable, or if they're charging straight into opponents, then they're going to get themselves killed very quickly, and then instead of us being the DPS, which is what we want to be doing, we're stuck having to run around and revive squad mates, and then they're going to go down quickly once again, and it's not a good cycle. So for that reason, I think Drac and Vetra have really been the two shining stars thus far. We haven't used PB that much, but she doesn't have a charge ability, which inherently makes her perhaps more survivable than, or have more survivability than Liam and Jal. Korra's does give her shields back, I assume, right? That's at least what charge does for us. I don't remember what it does for her. But, she did have a lot of issues last time out, so I think we should probably take Drac, since this is Eladin we're talking about here. And I guess I think we used Vetra somewhat recently, so let's go for a PB for the second one in. She has one passive defensive ability that we took a little while ago that I think some people were speaking highly of, but we haven't really gotten a good chance to see how effective that is, but maybe that's a big difference maker. So let's go for this. And I think from there we're all set. There is actually a hazard here on Eldon. And since we have basically never used that other, the disruptor ammo consumable, maybe we throw this on in case of emergencies. Now, granted, if we're gonna do some Remnant stuff, we may like to have disruptor ammo, but maybe we get some Andromeda points early. Some cryopods, and we can run back over to the Tempest and get the disruptor ammo and then head back to finish things up. I don't know. We'll see. Probably not, but we'll see. Okay, so I am kind of tempted to just quickly fire all of our weapons to see how different they feel. So, Hurricane. Oh, that's pretty different. Okay, what kind of range are we talking about here? It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it's definitely not huge range. There is pretty finite limit. I mean, it's kind of Rieger-like. I could definitely see that dealing a lot of damage. Also, that is not the right one to switch. Okay, so here is Piranha, which is heat-seeking. So this might not be that obvious without having actual enemies to aim at. That does look cool. And in theory, does seem to be traveling pretty far. So, I mean, that may actually be longer range than we would expect. I keep on using that to change ammo, or rather change weapons, and that is not what it does. Okay, then we've changed the Black Widow into a beam of some variety. Kind of tempted to first do it without zooming in. What? Okay, that's pretty freaking cool. Now, I don't know how practical that actually is, but I'm really curious. Okay, so... And we put the passive damage on the Black Widow, if I remember correctly, which means, in general, if we are not actively using a weapon, we should have the Black Widow out, because that is the thing that powers up our powers. So this is what I mean. We do have some hazards.
Almost smoked out there. You got me good. Stealing the next shuttle out of here.
Okay, now there's a scanner for something telling us to be right now. We should probably take a closer look as to what other things are in the area, because I was about to just fast travel to the place where we're expecting to run into this. However, if there are things that are right next to where we are now, then we could potentially still see to them here. It's about a water resource on Eldon. Rather than share its location, she sells water to the planet's inhabitants, who live and die by her whim. Looking into this situation would probably benefit all involved, as well as Eldon's future residents. Go to the paradise. Isn't that where we currently are? So that might be worth... And question Valonia at paradise? Okay, so there's at least a few things here. Settling Eldon, resolve the tension at the Krogan colony, and reach 40% viability on Eldon. Clear out the scavenger. Flophouse, we've already done that. We're almost at 40% viability. Resolve the tension. Not exactly sure what that is alluding to. So we have done some things to... I mean, the leader of this place is basically exactly the same character as every other leader has been thus far. Sloane and Lady in the Nexus, whose name escapes me, who everyone hates, and I agree. They're all just extremely cranky and disrespectful. So... Hold on. Where was... Both of these seem to be right here. So I assume it shouldn't be a huge deal if we delay a little bit with the bomb defusal quest, because we're here on Eldon. I'm assuming that it's only, you know, doing other big missions slash going to other planets that sort of ticks the timer. There's also new quests here, potentially. Search for Legetta. A new Tuchanka Krogan named Rorik is concerned about his Angard friend Legetta, who disappeared some time ago. Track Legetta down and give her Rorik's gift. Okay. Theoretically, oh.
Now that we're back here, we should dig around for info on Ania's water. Maybe her office.
We definitely will, but I'm also looking at our scanner, which was getting... Was that just because of this? I guess we can do that. I mean, you didn't really have to scan to tell me where this was. Okay.
Hey there.
Oh, goodbye, apparently.
I'll look around.
Are we scanning where... Oh, what's your deal? Okay, you exist, yes. Are we trying to find out where her water supply comes from? Is that the deal? I guess she's not gonna give us that info readily. What is this? Battle container? Okay. What does... Where does this go exactly? Right down below. But how do we get there? Also, wait, the quest icon is telling us to go here. So maybe we just follow that for the time being. Also, that was probably not the most efficient way to do that. It's not telling us to go to her. It's telling us to go above?
I think this is Ania's office.
Coast is clear. Get on getting that door open.
As expected, it's locked.
A scan should tell you how best to proceed, Pathfinder.
Okay. Alright, so follow the thing that I was following before is what you're telling me. Fair enough. Also, the coast definitely was not clear. There were very clearly other people here.
I'm gonna mess you up when we get out of here.
Yeah? You mess me up, you're never seeing those star charts again.
What? I have my star charts right here. I'm gonna peel your skin off and feed it to you.
And I hid those charts. You kill me, no chance you're leaving this hellscape.
And I'm gonna kill you right here.
I just told you I have your map. You're way off this planet. How are you so stupid?
So these are some of the guys who were going crazy before. Also, our scanner is going crazier now than it has perhaps ever gone before, which is in part why I'm stopping to be more thorough with our search now, but maybe that's just because we have this thing over here. Yeah. It's over here. Now it's not going as crazy now, which is confusing to me. Is that because you want us to go in that direction instead? But is that where we came from? Okay, I mean, it's going... It did something here. I don't know why. Do we need to speak to you?
You've survived the gang leaders and the worm so far. I'm impressed.
I know you were... Ah! You were talking with us before. Because you may know what happened to Ligetta?
What happened to the other salvage runner, Lieta?
Lietta.
The Angara? Who's asking?
Depends.
I am.
Lietta's dealt with enough. She doesn't need a pathfinder poking around.
Well...
She has a friend here. He wants to make sure she's okay.
Yeah? Where was he when Lietta was in trouble?
Just tell me where she is.
I don't know. Her ship was gone, so I flew her to Kadara. I didn't ask questions. Talk to Colt Dalton if you want to know more. He's the docks manager on Kadara. She had to go through him to get anywhere.
Okay.
Take it easy.
Always do.
Alright, so that's on Kadara, we've learned. Are we actually supposed to follow it in this direction? Because that's where we initially saw it. So the scanner is driving me crazy right now because it's trying to point us in that direction, even though that's not where we want to go. And that gets less aggressive when we go in the direction we actually are trying to go. But yeah, the quest that we just saw that is gonna ask us to go to Kadara. Oh, it's over here. One that's gonna ask us to go to Kadara. I'm hoping it's not gonna be like Contagion where it sends us back and forth across everywhere. It just turns into a huge fetch quest. Okay. Now, theoretically, we can go up here. That was unnecessary, actually.
I'm gonna mess you up when we get out of here.
Yeah?
We're in. Let's be quick in case Ania comes by.
Okay, is that an actual thing? Okay, we're getting a bunch of sound effects, but I'm not really clear on what I'm actually supposed to be doing in here. Ah, probably examine this datapad. A memo from Ania. Rashad, I told you, we can't do it during the eclipse. Those scavs are getting smart, and they'll expect us to move while it's dark. We have to be very careful around the entrance to the lake now because I've seen them in the area. If they get their hands on advanced scanning tech, they might even notice there's something underground. Use distractions and misdirection to lead them away from the reservoir. I planned out some routes. The map markers and nav points are attached. Ania.
An underground lake. That's where she's getting her water. Got the nav point. Let's get out of here.
I believe it's called an aquifer. Where is it exactly? Obviously it's on a lower level. Possibly. Maybe. I think this is mostly just the actual Krogan encampment. Past that, but... yeah, no, it's way over in a totally different direction. So... oh, no, it isn't. It's that? Wait, what is... what was this? Oh, it's something totally different. That is completely unrelated. It's over here? I mean, we're looking for... let's activate the... it's this one. This is the one that we're primarily trying to do. So, yeah, it is mostly in the opposite direction. So I think we will still head over there. We'll probably do whatever it is that's in between over here. And in the meantime, it's a pretty big detour to go there. And it's just a memory trigger. Okay. So yeah, I think we go here. What's this? That's also a memory trigger. We make our way over and we prioritize doing that first. And then we may stick around to do other things after that. But that's certainly the primary reason why we came here. It looks like this other one that we just started advancing is also something we will need to do so that we can eventually create an outpost here, which obviously we will want to do eventually, but that may not be quite as time sensitive. So let's do this first. I think that's going to be the better fast travel spot, is that? Rather than this. Obviously this is the best, but don't have that yet. Okay, languish, beautiful. I was about to deploy the Nomad, but it is already deployed. Do we have it marked? Yes, okay. So it's pretty much a straight shot diagonally, which should take us right past memory trigger in this plant sample. Usually those are pretty well hidden, though. So I imagine it's not going to be quite as straightforward.
Temperatures.
So Drac, Asari, and Krogan live much longer than the rest of the Milky Way species.
Yeah, so?
But now you've got about as much time left as Ryder, Vetra, everyone else on the team.
If I'm lucky, get to the point.
Must be weird. After so much time, finally facing the end.
Time is time. Number of years don't matter as much as what you do with them. Whatever I've got left's gonna be chock full of living.
It's also interesting hearing that coming from an Asari perspective, as Asari also lived to be about the same number of years as Krogan do. Granted, Drac is a lot older than PB is, but in theory, PB is capable of living to be around 1,000 as well. Oh. Okay, it's gonna drop off. Just trying to... oh, yeah, we'd kind of like to go north first if we can. So that we can make a point of getting those other things as well. Memory trigger and the plant. Is that... I mean, we've technically already passed them. Sure. Just because I don't know if we're going to be coming back here at any point. This is kind of an awkward in-between type of location. In between a couple of fast travel spots, at least. That's straight ahead, theoretically. Look, there might have been a cave.
Pathfinder, my sensors read an Andromeda plant sample nearby.
Okay, it is theoretically hot outside. That is, until we do this. Let's see if we're going in the right direction. No, we're going in the wrong direction. I feel like it is gonna end up being down below. No, okay, it does still show up here, our scanner, even when we don't directly have it out. I feel like there is a cave system down below, and it is in that, because... not making much progress here, even when I'm... seemingly going in the right direction? Okay. Let's see if there is a cave over here.
I don't think we'll last much longer in this.
Like, what do we have here? It's rich in minerals.
This area can be mined for resources.
Hey, you don't say.
You can extract minerals via your mining interface. Heat levels increasing.
Also, pretty sure this is just a way to force us to go in on foot.
Is normal.
Ooh. Interesting. So yeah, I'm guessing that the plant is in here and the memory trigger is probably in here as well. But there are probably some enemies in here too. In theory, it's over to the left. Let's maybe check to see if there's anything else to the right. Is it just Beastie Boys? Intergalactic Planetary? This place is a little suspicious. I feel like there either should be more in here, or there will be reason to come back here in the future. Maybe it's just a memory trigger and the plant sample. That doesn't sound good, though. Oh! Those guys are a little bit bigger. Those guys are bigger, although they went down very quickly. They didn't look... I mean, they looked kind of similar to some of the dino-like enemies that we've seen above the surface in the past on other planets, but not exactly the same. That doesn't look good. Something happened here. Ooh. High-level pistol damage. We'll take it. Salvage Team 13, the Vagabonds. Login, Hail Athos. Another one. How are those stasis lockers getting off the Ark? Oh, who cares? My people are here. They're alive. That means my clan, too. We'll all be back together soon. I suppose it's not technically salvage, since we bought this locker from a freelancer who found wandering out here, pulling a sled full of finds. A strange fellow. Human, but always wears a breather mask or helmet, even in atmosphere. Says his name is Baxter. I think it's hard to tell when he mutters. Marcus says we could use more help. Caitlin doesn't want to keep Baxter around, but Marcus says he could butter her up. Dairy products? Now? Mammalian courtship is so odd. Okay, that doesn't sound like a...
You've got to wonder how all these personal lockers got off the Solarian Ark.
Okay, it's Solarian.
Throw them away?
I was gonna say, it didn't sound like a human.
Probably needed more space for oppressing people.
Ooh, there's the memory trigger, okay. There's another enemy, though. And a big one, actually. A very big one.
Get ready to fight!
Of the fiendish right. Oh. No, you know what it is? It's not that those enemies that we fought previously were way weaker than the ones that we saw above surface before. It's just that the amount of tech damage that we have now put on our character has basically seemingly at least tripled our damage. Do you see how quickly we took down that enemy? That's supposed to be an extremely strong enemy.
Sam, another memory trigger?
One of your father's memories is now accessible.
Oh, it's accessible.
Return to Sam node on the Hyperion to investigate further.
Okay. We are also expecting to find the plant around here somewhere as well. Is it this? Looks like it might be. Though not poisonous, that's a great way to start off. This mildly psychoactive mushroom has valuable medicinal properties. Extracted agents could be used to enhance Metagel's pain-reducing capabilities. So that's not bad. Okay. Alright then. So yeah, not entirely sure what to make of the datapad that we read in the other little branch of this area. But certainly the memory trigger, getting that. To actually completely unlock a new memory. And the plant as well. It's not a bad thing. Did we? Is that the side that had that datapad and everything? Or is this just the bunch of little bugaboos over here? This was just a bunch of little bugaboos, wasn't it? Okay. But also, we've discovered that it turns out upgrading our damage looks like it has made a humongous difference. I think this is the way. Yeah, this is the way up. Okay. So that was astronomical, the difference there.
Pathfinder, this area can be mined for resources.
I mean, so much
You can
so.
extract minerals via your mining interface.
So much so that I thought that it was a different type of enemy. I thought that it was some kind of significantly weaker enemy because it was so easy to kill it. So that says something about the effectiveness.
Climbing, Pathfinder.
Like, I don't really care about carbon is the thing. Just kind of trying to just poke around a little bit, see if we can get something better than that. It's like, we can get Ezo, which theoretically is over here somewhere, then I'll take it. I'll definitely take it. Iron, and a lot of it. Like, an astronomical amount of it. Alright, we'll do it. Still only 150 or so, which is still not actually that significant amount for something that is a common resource, but right now we are technically going in the opposite direction, of course, but I'm just doing this to see if we can get some more Ezo. So that's the thing that I want. Not really the iron.
I'm reading a normal temperature range, Pathfinder.
Yes, but also Ezo, question mark? It'll be a lot harder to get up here if we go down that. That's pretty steep. Alright, we may just settle for more iron. Boring as that may be. What can I say? I wanted the Ezo. Ooh. That's maybe not the best way to go about doing that. Yeah, now it says it's no longer a rich area. Zoom. Okay, so that... I still don't know what that sound is.
You said about life and longevity, Drac.
Remind me what I said?
You said the number of years we're around isn't what matters. Back home, I knew so many old Asari who stopped learning, asking questions.
Sounds less like living than waiting to die.
Exactly. I wouldn't trade one of my years for 100 of theirs.
Okay, so this does not look like the primary location, but there's obviously some Scourge, a lot of Scourge here. Which usually means there's something else of note. There are some enemies. It's like you just basically get one shot from a skill that is supposed to be a damage over time skill. Which to me seems pretty ridiculous. Basically the same thing there, and you're a bigger enemy.
Life support is back online.
That looks like a thing of some variety.
That Remnant thing looks important.
Pathfinder, you may want to try scanning. Pathfinder, I've extracted data fragments from this cache. They may be valuable later.
Okay, this data cache has been recently damaged. More than 99% of the Remnant data is unreadable. Go to the Derelict Remnant ship. Theoretically may be tied to that. There's a lot of Scourge here. Now, some of these types of things, although they technically don't prompt us to scan, do occasionally still give us some research data. And we definitely will take damage if we get too close to it, so I'm a little reluctant to go further. Closer to it for that reason, but there we go. Though, not actually sure if that did give us any. There should be some shadows we can go into to restore life support as well, so that shouldn't be an issue. Don't worry, it's only 39 degrees Celsius. Let's see if we... There might be a chest of some variety on one of these things. This does kind of seem like one of the most easily traversable ones. But that does not mean that it has any sort of container on it. Let's do some scouting here. I mean, yeah, I'm assuming the ones that have the big Scourge stuff on them probably not really supposed to be going after those. Sometimes just hitting around a corner here or there, there'll be a container or two. And usually the ones that are in these type of systems, these areas where there's all the Remnant stuff going on, they can give you some high rarity stuff. So I'm trying to at least look around a bit for that reason.
Temperature levels are climbing, Pathfinder.
Does this one look like it is actually traversable? Yes. Kind of, sort of. Yes. There is nothing up here. It does give us a good perspective, though. That's something. Might be worth investigating that. It's over here. So make sure that we're not jumping straight onto some Scourge stuff. Scannable. Still no research from it. This? No? That may be it. In that case. Okay, I guess we'll head back. I mean, of course, this wasn't on our map or anything, which... That might be a container. I was gonna say, that would perhaps suggest that this is not gonna give us that much stuff. No, that's just...
Ambient temperature is normal.
Random little...
Life support is back online.
Block. But yeah. Little bit of, one of those research things that may be tied to the derelict ship or something like that, but otherwise, not too much else going on here. So that was roughly a halfway point to the forward station at the very least, but then not far thereafter is the thing we're looking for here. That's obviously also looking pretty big. Pretty significant.
Phoebe, you're sure you're not half Krogan?
Nope. Why?
Your attitude, aggression, the way you don't take shit from anyone.
My mother made it exclusively with other Asari.
Is that right?
Except when she conceived me. My father was an Elcor.
You've gotta be kidding.
Offended indignation. Why? Doesn't it fit?
You're as far from an Elcor as I can imagine.
Then it makes perfect sense, right?
I suppose so. You little rebel. That's the Remnant Derelict Morta's obsessed with.
Okay. Here is the forward station as well.
Activating automated forward station deployment.
So this is our new checkpoint of sorts. Fast travel spot.
Mining zones in this region are available, Pathfinder. I've added them to your nav system.
Right, got a little more viability. Almost up to 40, which I think is the threshold usually for setting up outposts. So there's a path that we theoretically could have followed, but we didn't. Fair enough. We took the shortest route, as the crow flies. But yeah, I imagine finishing this will bump up our viability quite considerably. Alright. Let's head in, I suppose.
I detect above normal temperatures.
I mean, can we save? We should probably save. There's also, I'm pretty sure, an enemy beast of some variety right there, which we will slay to assert dominance. Ready? I'm gonna tap it.
Enemy! Nice work.
I pressed it as quickly as I could. It was a one-shot. From a damage over time skill. Granted, it had to. Some of the damage over time did have to apply to kill, but still. That is not the weakest type of enemy. So I think we've done a lot here to increase our damage, and I'm hoping that will help for the more significant encounters.
Detecting deep seismic activity in this area.
Oh.
That thing is massive. I wonder what brought it down.
Wanna bet we're gonna run into a bunch of angry Remnant?
Yep.
I wonder if Remnant get cranky.
So that's one of the reasons why we did bring a different team this time. Now, of course, in general, we are best against armor, not shields, and Remnant tend to be pretty shield-centric, and at least in Mass Effect 3, and I assume in Andromeda as well, the damage over time from Flamer does not activate on synthetic enemies, because they're robots, they don't really get burnt. But again, that's why we're generally not as good against Remnant as we are against organic enemies, and why we had to be a little more pragmatic when it came to choosing our team for this one. People who would not just run straight in against one of those, whatever the big Remnant enemy that we've fought thus far has been called, and make us have to basically solo everything. This looks like we should actually be driving the Nomad still. There's definitely plenty of room for it. Didn't we take the extra flamer damage, or tech damage, power damage, when hovering as well on something? I forget what, or at least we were considering it. I don't remember what we put it on, if it was a specific weapon, and if we aren't having that weapon equipped, then we need to switch to something else, I don't know, but it might have been one of our armors, in which case we should go for it. It was a large number. Oh.
Scavengers have been trying for months to get salvage from this place.
Yeah, I see the red dots. I don't see the enemies, though. Don't see where those salvagers are. Oh, I see one of them. Okay, so like this is an instance where we could deliberately open the Black Widow. Try to get a quick kill that way. Sure, we'll go for it. Okay, just go to the ship. Okay, fair enough. Okay, our range may be worse since switching, because that didn't seem. I also didn't mean to do that. Every time I try to switch weapons, I accidentally do that. Yeah, I don't know if this is gonna have longer range than the Black Widow. We did suspect that perhaps it has longer range than we had previously anticipated, but no. Neither one has sufficient range here. This Black Widow, if we were back up once again, without fail every time. I mean, technically, if we're gonna use the Black Widow, we have, or if we're gonna use powers primarily, we have extra damage on this. So I mean, that's like, again, it's not ideal in some ways. Because we want to be up close for Flamer, we don't want to be up close for having to use the Black Widow. Stealthy kill? How did they know we were here? We did a stealthy kill.
Fight the death!
Thank you, Track.
Watch out, that's a field of death.
Yeah, I assume you're referring to the very large quantity. Where are you?
Angela, protect the stash!
Protect the stash! When I heard more raiders, I thought. Yeah, walking through there is maybe not gonna be a great time. You guys, keeping any goodies in here? No? That's disappointing. Up above, maybe? If we could even get up there? Without bumping our head. That's a turret, isn't it? Is it? It's a remnant enemy of some variety. I mean, we now see them popping up on our map. So if we do this... So I'm not sure that's close enough for us to hit you. That is a turret. That is not hitting the turret. Yeah, see, it's hard to know what the actual range of this thing is. And again, perhaps with the Black Widow, we were most uncertain about whether the mods we did were a good choice or not. Yeah. And I think the reduced range is proving to be a pretty big handicap. So it seems like this is basically a wall in front of us here, between all the Scourge and these turrets. So I think we're supposed to go around this way. That's kind of how I'm reading that. There is a container over here, though. I take it if we go anywhere near those things, we're just going to immediately explode. So I'm going to try to not do that. I was, of course, originally distracted by all the enemies here and didn't really loot this stuff, but okay. I think we're good here. Now, do we once again get back in the Nomad, though? Because this place is big enough and open enough to suggest that we should be in it. It's not like we've hit one of those pseudo walls, one of those places that is too skinny for the Nomad to make it through, which is usually the indicator that we should not use the Nomad. Seems like this is scavengers fighting against the Remnant. That's what we're hearing. One moment, please. And you guys don't keep anything in here, which is very disappointing. I mean, they're just weakening each other up for us, you know? It's very considerate of them, really. I assume there are more turrets over here. There are definitely more turrets over here, though. Okay, that works. From that range. I'm not sure who else is shooting at us anymore. What's that? Oh, we have that range. Okay. That seemed pretty far away, comparatively speaking, but sure. The Drac is getting shot at. Oh, there you go. And we don't have that range. We do need to get closer. So now that we've taken down the turret over here, use this spot. That's a bit of
Pathfinder, your shields will not withstand this for long.
We need to find a way around this.
Okay.
We need to find a way around this.
Like, through here. Or up here. Is there anything up here? No. This is a... Well, I mean, kind of. You can kind of do this.
Let's do this!
I doubt we can... Ow! Hit that turret from over here. Oh, we definitely can't hit that turret from here. Okay, so in that case, we shall proceed this way. Let's do this breaker cloak. Just B to dodge during dangerous situations, you say. Not really clear to me what is making those bod booms. That's a turret. That was a turret. Oh, there is... I don't... Like, that thing is shooting us. I don't really get it. I imagine we're technically supposed to drop down below, but this also feels like this is preferable to be up here in some ways. There's definitely someone else that is trying to shoot at us. You can hear the charging sounds. That turret way back, they have crazy range. I'm deliberately trying to fall through here. I'm deliberately trying to fall through here. I'm unable to fall through here. I'm now kind of sort of stuck. I am extremely stuck.
Remnant.
I'm completely stuck. I'm legitimately stuck. This is what I get for trying to fall through an area that apparently I was not supposed to try to fall through. Mistakes may have been made. Weasel our way through here. Also, that looks like that was the thing that we could hit. Apparently there was an enemy there all along. Yeah, so I'll be honest, I don't think we can get through here unless we reload a previous save. Okay, so... Autosave. That may not be long enough ago, we will see. Yeah, we're not stuck. That's all that matters. Okay, should be able to drop through here. Surely, right?
Around every corner. Watch your six and my back.
Watch your six and my back? That's what watch your six means. It's as in watch your 6 o'clock. Ah! What? I cloaked. Oh, I don't have cloak back. That's why. Duh. This is kind of what I mean. Like, that was a no-scope, and it still annihilated them. But, should have a damage penalty on sniper rifles, even if they have alternate types of projectiles.
Bites the dust.
I'm just trying to loot, man. Just trying to loot in peace. Okay, well, I mean, this is certainly something over here. Look at the entrance. That we seem to have done. We also seem to have found a lot of dead people. Mining drill. Didn't look quickly enough to see which type of research that gave us, but probably Milky Way, because this is the Milky Way Krogan who've done this, I assume. Jameson Mark 7 mining laser serial number has been filed off. Referencing advertisement copy, one of the Milky Way galaxy's most advanced mining tools, the Mark 7, will vaporize iron. Do not look directly at laser while in operation. Well, oh. Okay. Well, I mean, I take that to mean we probably need to go over there. Is that the same thing just looping around? Yeah. Oh. Didn't mean to do that. I'd also like to nab this real quick. Not that 35 credits is going to make a world of a difference, but, you know, just in case.
Should be enough glyphs.
Okay, in other words, we just needed one additional glyph. Also, what is over here? Probably more enemies that want us dead. Or more traps that are not actually destructible, but will nonetheless try to damage and destroy us. Not that we can, well, Might have been able to penetrate through that if we were still using the original style Black Widow. But who knows? Who knows? That one's hard to know for certain without trying to shoot someone who's hiding behind cover is probably the best way to test it. Alright, let's see. Alright, so this is kind of a tricky style, although we have a lot of glyphs already here. In fact, this is a free one. We know exactly what this one's going to be. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. It's this. Okay. So that should give us a pretty big head start. So then we know this is either you, which is possible on this side, and is not possible on this side, so that has to be right. Which means you must be this, which does work. These look a little too similar for my liking, but yeah, that's fine. Vertically now, or rather horizontally, now vertically. Yes, we are looking for you. So now that's fine. And that means it's the next best place to go is maybe this horizontal area. So we do need one of those in this shape, but obviously we can't put you there. We cannot do that. We could potentially do that, in which case we'd want that, which at the moment at least does work, right? Seems to. Okay, then we just need one more here, which would mean it would be that kind, which also works at the moment, which means we should probably be able to figure this one out. So then here, in fact, might be easier still. So can't be that because we have one of you in this shape already. It is looking like it's gonna be you, which would mean this one is you. That's fine here. It's fine here. Yeah, that looks good. So then working our way down over here could be this, or you could be that. But I don't think we have a definitive answer yet. So that's a little scary. Yeah. Don't think we have any answers for this stuff yet. This could go either way. But let's see what we do. Oh, this should be definitive. Okay, this might give us our answer. This does give us our answer. We need you to be here. So that means this needs to go the other way. Like that. Which means now you have only one option left. It's the J. Which checks out. And that means you have only one option left. And it should be this one. Does that work? Works there. I was primarily checking vertically, which works, and in the grid here it works. That means you would be this. Which also seems to work. I think we're good here. We are.
Good one, Ryder.
We are, of course, the Sudoku Master, naturally. Okay, door is open. We can actually save. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised, to be honest with you. Okay, so I don't really know. Is this basically going to be like a vault? A pseudo vault? Not sure. I mean, the lead up was unlike anything we've really had thus far. It reminds me, though, of the,
So cool in here. So nice.
Eladin's a mystery to me. It's hellish, hot.
Lawless, crazy, murderous. Never mind the water mafia.
Gotta be a big reward for those scavengers to put up with the risk.
Information from Kadara lists raw materials from Remnant architecture as extremely profitable.
There's a lot of damage in here. Better watch our step. Hopefully we can find a route to the drive core, then get out of here.
Okay, so it reminds me of the Geth Dreadnought from Mass Effect 3. At least my first impression. Of course, there isn't anything over here. Unless we can destroy this. Or not. Okay, so are there going to be more trap-like things? Inanimate objects that deal damage to us that cannot be destroyed? Because those are kind of annoying, not gonna lie. Scourge energy pocket. Okay, I mean... seems to be tying the Remnant to the Scourge pretty closely. Which is probably something that we assumed, but may not have actually had much in the way of confirmation of that yet. That looks like another console. Maybe don't go off that edge. Just a thought. See, I knew there'd be some stuff hiding in one of these corners. Let's see, it's moderate salvage. A little bit of crafting stuff. Nothing game-changing, but we'll take it. And what does this do?
At least this still works. Any theories about this ship?
You mean the crash? Scourge fried the guidance system, or I don't know. Everything?
That's a safe bet. But where's the crew? What happened to them?
And where did they come from? This ship suggests they aren't from here.
Yeah. The fact that they took... I mean, this seems to be a pretty humongous ship. The fact that they had to take something like this... Does that mean it was a Remnant arc? We can make that jump, right? Got this sort of like semi-shield. Oh, we may not need to make that jump after all. We may just be able to go around this way, although I'm not sure that's any easier. It might be. Surely, yeah, there's gotta be something over here. It's like this almost completely transparent, but not quite completely transparent stuff. Love the shield capacitors. Like these things here, where it looks sort of like the Scourge. So at first I wasn't sure if I was gonna take damage walking up to or even through it, but apparently we can still do that. Although, I feel like there will be times when it's not going to be obvious which one it technically is at first glance. It is cool, though. Like this. Looks like the kind of thing we would take damage from walking into, but apparently not. Obviously a dearth of enemies thus far. I imagine that will change at some point. We did have a lot leading up to this, but even then. Well, that's a dramatic bridge. I feel like this is such a big, dramatic, long bridge that this is the kind of one that, rather than showing up as we arrive on it, it's going to disappear if we're not running across it quickly.
Heads up. Maybe
Yep.
this place isn't functioning.
Yep.
If that also means the killer bots, I won't complain.
Just working on my platforming skills here a bit. Okay.
This is probably the access terminal for the drive core. Why, yes, Ryder. I think you're right. Talking to yourself, Ryder? Yeah, I am. Okay, just checking.
Alright, this is the big thing we're looking for. Theoretically.
The drive core's not here.
Or not.
Someone's
It's too
been
easy.
here, but they didn't come in the way we just did. Couldn't have.
Ship is pretty busted up. Someone found another way in.
That's
Presumably.
what we get for coming in the right way.
Some of the
So who has it?
Krogan.
Scavengers? Gotta be.
I mean, we're doing this to beat the Krogan to the punch. So I guess the Krogan aren't here yet, but it is potentially just more generic scavengers?
I agree. Seems like the most likely culprit.
But how did they get
We
this
just have
far
to
in?
find our way out and track them down.
Okay. Find our way up by going further in? I guess, rather than backtracking? Because reasons? I mean, like, that looks cool, but probably don't want to walk into that, I'm guessing. Now, actually, if you walk into that, you synthesize all organics with synthetics. I feel like you can choose to do that, and in fact, the game may even encourage you to do so. Even if it is technically the primary objective of your antagonist. And the game may, at the last second, try to make you believe that that is actually the most optimal solution. When in fact, that may just be because the people who are talking to you at the time are actually people posing
I don't think these
as your
belong
friends,
here.
when in fact, they're actually your arch enemies still.
That's not Remnant tech.
The intruders must have entered from this direction.
Okay. Liz, what are you talking? Oh, you know. Okay, let's take the hint here. I assume our spell of combat-free exploration is about to end. Very soon. Usually, for the vaults, of course, will be chased out at some point in time by the actual Remnant tech itself. Which is partially what I was... really the main thing I was getting at, I guess. When I was talking about, is this gonna functionally be just like another vault? Thus far, not really. I also don't really think this is the weapon I'd like to be using for closer. Again, it's kind of awkward having the Black Widow be our go-to, but we're gonna see if we have enough range to do this, because we do. So it does have a little bit of kick. So you can't just completely hold it in place. Where is that last enemy? Above?
More flares. Seems like the right direction.
Very kind of these thieves to leave us a clear trail.
Pretty handy. I'd hate to get lost
Oh, sorry.
in here.
Oh, what this? Observer creator? Remnant mechanism appears to create and deploy hostile observer machines. Scourge blockages in conduit below probably cause unit to deactivate. Other conduits appear undamaged. Okay. So that the Remnant are using Scourge as a power source. But for everyone else, it's thrown us off. Thrown off all of our tech. And physically harming us. When we come in close contact with it. We snipe those people? Will our squad mates get that person? Because that's around a corner that I did not think we were shooting from. we're shooting at. I mean, the aesthetic is very cool. I think I like it more than the vaults. Maybe just because it feels a little bit more unique since I've been to several vaults, but this is the first time we've actually really been in a full-blown Remnant ship. There are a lot of enemies over here. Theoretically. Hey, friend. Yeah, that does destroy them very quickly, though. Does PB have the same type of melee we do? Yeah, that is... Again, that's just really hard to get a sense for how much range we have. I did not think we had enough range to do that. But obviously it did work.
No wonder about the dead scavengers. Naturally, they're getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, not exactly sure where those other guys are. Oh, never mind, I found them. Didn't name that very well, but the damage is very good. The aiming is different, and definitely takes some getting used to.
So much silence.
Okay. Ooh, okay, no, not down there though. Not down there though. I do love that animation. I've seen it once or twice before, but it is so dynamic, so realistic. It's one of those little finer touches that I would... If I'm being a cynic, I would say, well, that's the kind of thing that we haven't seen too much of in Andromeda, but, you know, every now and again we get stuff like that where you see some nice attention to detail, and it does make you think, oh, well, if there was just a little bit more of that. Or, I guess, a lot more of those little things. A whole lot more of those little things, and in general, just what the game could have done, what the developers could have done with more time. Okay. What does our map show right now? And we are just below ground here, but does this work? No, this is just a broken outpost. It's much brighter. This is our way out. Which probably means it's also where we're gonna find these scavengers. It's weird lighting effects. This misty effect. Not sure what this is all about. It's fog.
So this is how they got in, whoever it was.
Wasn't Morda who took the drive core. If she knew about this entrance, they wouldn't try to break in.
Not in a very good spot. Positioning-wise, we are very low down. I do feel like there's gotta be some stuff up here, right? Surely this stuff exists for a reason. No? We can't parkour up that? I'm deeply disappointed. Or can we? Or can... Or... Can't... We... You just have to believe. All you have to do is... No! You have to... Believe. No, I want to... No! I want to get up there, though. I want to get up there, though. Might not be worth giving me this shot. It may just backfire on us. It doesn't really seem like the game wants us to go in this direction. Fine. Let's see what the deal is over here. We're definitely about to get surrounded, ambushed, what have you. And we are going to be right in the open, and our enemies are going to have the high ground on us.
Finally, back out into the bright, scorching light of day.
Meh. Better than rain.
We've got a lock on your position. Sending down a forward station.
Oh!
Suvi, Sam's uploaded a signature from the Remnant drive core housing. Can you trace it?
Tricky from our position. It won't be a full scan.
Give me whatever you can. We need to find out who stole it.
Scavenger scum.
Okay, think I've got something. I've updated your nav system.
Huh. Okay. Expected to just see a bunch of people pop up right here. So that is a... Did we see this as a forward station location before? Not sure that we did. And that kind of seems to be the quest that we were just doing. Next step to it. Let's get you back here. We got a little bit of viability just from going through there. And another 2%, of course, by actually finding this forward station. So it looks like... Where was it? Wait, what? Yeah, over here. Well, I mean, is it better to just fast travel over here? Because it kind of seems like it. Trace the path that's stolen drive core and retrieve it. Sam scanned the drive core housing and was able to discern a unique signature. Suvi will use global planet scans to help us pinpoint the location of the stolen drive core so that we can get it back. Just out of curiosity, what else is in this general area? Yeah. Not necessarily sure we want to do that right now. I mean, at some point, there is a vault on Elodin. So, you know, if we're relatively close to the monoliths, is it worth taking a pit stop over at the... Where are the monoliths, out of curiosity? There's one there. There's one there, which also has a forward station near it, although we don't have that one unlocked. And there's one over here, which we also don't have anything in that general area. I mean, certainly once we go do this, we'd like to do that as well. It's just a question of, do we proceed from here onto here? I guess we'll take it one step at a time. We'll see where we end up going, if that's going to be a quest that has us traveling a little bit further.